You're too early. I'm not ready. Oh, well, seeing as you're here, I was just going to try and choose something really smart for today's show. Do you like dressing smart? You do? You don't? You do? You don't? You do? Oh, there's too many people saying yes and no. Well, I want to look really smart for my special day. So, what shall I wear the white one? Shall I wear the blue one? The green one? The red one? The purple one? Yes! I'm gonna wear the yellow one! Come on, let's go! And welcome to Everyday Story with me, Shortails, Mr. Shortails, and boy do I have a tale to tell you today. Would you like to hear it? Yeah! Okay, let's go! I have, you have, we all have a story every day. I say, you say, what's my special story today? Everywhere we go, everything we do. There's always a story for me and for you. I have, you have, we all have a story every day. I say, you say, what's my special story today? With Mr. Tails! Okay, so today's story is The Smartest Giant in Town by Julia Donnells and Alex Scheffner. Are we ready? So in this story, I want you to sing along with me. Do you think you could do that? He is a giant, so you're going to have to sing really low. Are you ready? Here we go. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched-up gown. I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town, he said sadly. But one day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. So he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds at the side, and a pair of smart shoes. Now I'm the smartest giant in town, he said very proudly. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a noise. On the pavement stood a giraffe, who was sniffing sadly. What's the matter? asked George. It's my neck, said the giraffe. It's very long and so very cold. I wish I had a new, long, warm scarf. Cheer up, George, said George, and he took off his stripy tie. It didn't match my socks anyway, he said. As he wound it round the giraffe's neck, it made a wonderful scarf. Thank you, said the giraffe. As George strolled towards home, he sang to himself. Are you ready? My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. Do you think you can join me the next one? George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. What's the matter? asked George. It's my sail, said the goat. It blew away in the storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his new white shirt. It kept coming untucked anyway, he said, as he tied it to the mast for the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail, "Thank you," said the goat. George strolled along singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as I sail for a goat. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a little white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. What's the matter? Asked George. It's our house, squeaked the little mother mouse. It burnt down, and now we have nowhere to live. We wish we had a new house. Oh, the poor little mice. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his shiny shoe. It was giving me blisters anyway, he said. As the mouse scrambled the babies inside, the shoe made a perfect home for them. Thank you, they squeaked. George had hopped along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. Are you ready? My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as I sail for a goat. One of my shoes is a house for a mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a campsite. Beside the tent stood a fox who was crying. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sleeping bag, said the fox. I dropped it in the puddle. I wish I had a new dry sleeping bag, the fox said. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his socks, one of his socks with the diamonds up the side. It was tickling my toes anyway, he said. As the fox snuggled into it, it made a very fine sleeping bag. Oh, thank you, said the fox. George hopped along singing to himself. My tie is for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as I sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is the bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. George came to a big squishy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. What's the matter? Asked George. Oh, it's this bog, said the dog. I need to get across, but I can't. I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path for me. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his smart new belt. It was squishing my tummy anyway, he said. He laid it down over the bog for the dog. It made an excellent path. Oh, thank you, said the dog. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as I sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is the bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing the bog. But my trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town. Sadly, George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one of his foot and thought, I have to get back to the shop and buy some more clothes, he decided. He turned around and hopped all the way back to the shop. Oh, look at his pants. Oh. But when he got there, it was closed. Oh no, cried George. He sank down by the doorstep and a tear rolled down his nose. He felt sad and as all the other animals felt on their way home. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out of the top. George took a closer look. My gown, he said, my gown. My dear old gown and sandals. George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. I'm the coziest giant in town, he cried and danced all the way back home along the road. Outside the front door stood all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous present. Come on, George, come on, George, they all said. Open it, open it. George untied the ribbon. Inside was a beautiful gold paper and crown and a card. Look inside, George, look inside, all the animals said. George put his crown on his head and he opened the card. Inside it says, your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, your shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of your socks is a bed for a fox, your belt helped a dog who was crossing the bog, so here's the very fine crown for the smartest, kindest giant in town. The end. Well, thanks for joining me today. I hope you had lots of fun reading that story. I know I love that story. And don't forget, if you want to do some craft today, then head on over to my Instagram page, which is every.day stories, and you can see a lot more stuff there. And coming up very shortly is very exciting. It's another story. So make sure that you hit that like button or hit the subscribe and you don't miss out. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.